What's up, Tsla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla SPY and the broader markets. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice. So Tesla got this nice breakout. We got past this 435 resistance. We pushed towards it, rejected, then bounced, and we started pushing towards 444. However, once we touched 444, Tesla has been turning down a bit, and there is a risk of us returning to 440, if not back down to 435 if that fails us. Despite that, Tesla is still outperforming SPY and the QQQ. It's holding up quite nicely as we got some bullish news. So Gary Black came out and he was talking about the FSD improvements that have come out, the plans to expand in Europe, and the fact that he's very excited and he's been praising the FSD system. The new updates that came out, in his opinion, were a very big step compared to the previous versions. He also talked about the disengagements that have gone down, and that's showing another signs of big improvements. So he's very excited about Tesla and the growth that's been coming, and he believes that the robotaxi is going to be a big hit for them. And he's not just talking about what other people are talking about; he's using his tests of the FSD improvements to be a clear indication of the improvements to self-driving technology. On top of this, there was more news that came out. We had Melius Research come out, and we have important analysts that have more bullish stances on Tesla. They now have a target of $525 a share, which is very bullish. They also believe that the autonomous driving technology is going to be a big win for Tesla. It's going to help them over traditional automakers, which is more bullish news. That's why Tesla saw a nice breakout today. Also, the ISM services data was decent. Everything was very close to expectations. Even services prices were down compared to what we saw previously. So that is once again another bullish sign, at least for Tesla and the markets, and we're holding up quite nicely. So Tesla now has a new range. We have 444 as a resistance. If that breaks, we could get closer to 450. But if we end up losing essentially 440, then we could be looking for a move back down towards 435 to retest our EMAs in case we turn back down. So if we break 440 to the downwards direction, we could be looking for a move back down towards 435. If we break 444, though, I would not rule out the possibility of 450. We're trading sideways for now, but just know that since we touched 444, Tesla has been downtrending a little bit. So there is a risk of us retesting 435. But overall, it's still holding up quite nicely and still outperforming the markets. Let's just see if 435 holds for a close for this move to continue. But overall, I do anticipate some more decent price action. For SPY, we're trading sideways for the last 3-4 days. Every time we touch the 683s, we reject. Every time we touch 678 to 679, we like to bounce. It's been rejection, bounce, but back and forth for many, many days. We've been trying to push for 683. We got a rejection. We're going to see if this rejection off this area. If we get back below 682, there's going to be a risk of us returning towards these lows over here. But if we hold them, we could be looking for a continuation higher. We're bouncing for now, so we're going to see if we could reject or not near 683, but overall SPY is still holding up nicely, even compared to the QQQ. So I still think we're range bound, though. For me to be really bullish, we have to break 685, and to be really bearish, I'd like to see us lose like 678. Otherwise, we're still technically range bound, even as we try to push a little bit. On the QQQ, the question is, do we reject? We basically have resistance around 623, which is where we keep on rejecting. And then we also have the support down here at 618. One thing that's not so good for bulls is that the QQQ saw this rejection, came up, and if we reject again, we could be making a lower high compared to this high, which could take us back down towards the lows. So there is some weakness on the QQQ as it's red compared to SPY. The IWM pumped very nicely to 248. If we can't hold above that, there's a risk of 246. On ES, we pumped and dumped a little bit. We need to get back above 6860 to be bullish. If we can't do that, there's going to be a risk of us returning to the lower 6800s, and that could be a sign the market's going to pull back a little bit. NQ, we pumped a bit, came down, we pumped again. Now we're rejecting. We need to get back above 25,595. If not, we could be retesting the lows for some downside. Bitcoin also has a head and shoulders like pattern. We're going to see if we hold above 92,000. If not, we could be tipping back down to 90,000 flat. Tesla kind of pumped a bit. And like I said, there is a risk of that downside. If we can't get back above 440, we're looking for 435 all over again. So there is some downside risk. We'll see if we close above that or not. On Nvidia, we're going to see if 181 holds. If not, I'm looking for a move back down to 178 and 175. Apple could be retesting 285. If that fails, we could be dipping to the low 280s. On AMD, we got this rejection making lower highs, so we're going to see if we hold above 216. If not, we're looking for 212. On Coinbase, we're technically forming a bearish divergence, and we could be dipping back down to 270 to 267. Amazon's on a bit of a downtrend, could be retesting 231. Meta is rejecting, making lower highs, and there's a risk of it returning to like 640 flat. Google pumped very, very nicely with bullish news, but I want to see if we could hold above 322. If we don't, it could be turning back down to 318. And Microsoft is also slowing down, could be retesting the lows. So it looks to me like tech is showing some weakness, and that could once again drag the market lower, especially the QQQ. And if SPY rejects here and the QQQ, if they get a rejection, that could also drag Tesla down. I'd like to see Tesla hold 440. If it doesn't, 435 is going to be our next potential target. So keep that in mind. Thank you for listening, guys, and peace out.